Vietnam, or even other countries. So thank you so much for joining us today. So hi, let me introduce myself. My name is Safira. I'm from Glints. And today, before we let Monir and Juvenco to discuss further about our interesting topic, I would like to introduce what is Glints to you all, so you all also can get to know us better. And yeah, so next. Anyway, while we are waiting for the slides to change, please introduce yourself in the chat box. So you can just write what is your name, and then where are you come from, and what is your current occupation, and what is your company. So yeah, so let's networking. Although we are far apart in this virtual session. So now let me introduce you with Glints. Glints is the fastest growing human resource and career development company in Southeast Asia. We were actually based in Singapore, but for now we are already in 6 countries. Next. Now, yeah, as I said that we are now having 6 countries as our market presence. Indonesia is our biggest market presence, and then Vietnam, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. And as you can see here, we already established since 2013. And we connect job seekers, and also we connect job seekers. In average, we have 1 million job seekers in our platform, and we connect them to meet employers from 30,000 companies. And yeah, also we are backed by top tech and HR investors, as you can see on our screens. Next. So what's actually Glints over? We actually have 3 products for employers. We have and we basically try to provide solutions for HR. First is employer branding with our brand Talent Magnet. Second is our recruitment service, Glints Talent Hunt. And third, we have the talent development service, Glints Expert Class for Business. Next. Yeah, and we are the largest job seeker and career development ecosystem in Indonesia. We, as I already mentioned, that we have 1 million job seekers on the platform, and then we also have a huge community both in our social media and our website, and we regularly provide Glints Expert Class, a platform for young people. Either they are still students or they already have a career as professionals to develop their career with Glints Expert Class. And for now, we already have 100 expert contributors with 2,000 total participants. And for you all here who already attend these sessions, it's actually very open for you either to be our expert contributors or even to become our participants. Next. Yeah, and besides what service that we offer to you, Glints actually have the mission to empowering employers. Glints continuously equips employers community with relevant insights about human resource management best practices. And this is why this Glints Talk happened at the first place. We continuously create webinar. This one is one of them. And we usually have 2 until 3 webinars per month. And please stay tuned in our social media. You can add us in Facebook, Instagram, and also LinkedIn to get to know our upcoming and also on our upcoming employer events. And also we provide free ebook as a learning resource for business leaders and also HR professionals that we also launch every month. Yeah, and so stay tuned in our social media to get updates about 2 of them. And from here, next. Yeah, from here I'll pass, besides Glints, as an organizer for this event, we also collaborate with Innovation Factory, and we also want you to know what's actually Innovation Factory. So please, Widya from Innovation Factory, kindly introduce your amazing platform. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Safira. So let me introduce myself before we start. So my name is Widya Sukarda. I'm the Hub Manager for Innovation Factory Jakarta. So maybe just as Safira said, I'm going to give a brief introduction of who Innovation Factory is and also what we do. So Innovation Factory is a technology and innovation hub in Indonesia. So we are a platform for different initiatives in the tech industry, and also where we enable key actors in the tech startup ecosystem to meet, collaborate, and grow together. I think we can go to the next slide. So we can have a brief overview of what we do. So right now at Innovation Factory, we have about more than 45,000 community members, and we also have more than 3,500 startups engaged. And about more than 20 plus startups invested through our investors network. And right now in our locations, we have 180 plus startups residents in our 4 locations, which is in Jakarta, Bandung, and Jogja. And in turn, we have seen about more than 15,100 jobs created directly and indirectly. And also we host a lot of tech talks and events in Indonesia. So we're gonna go to the next slide as well. Yeah. So what do we do in Innovation Factory? So those are all the numbers. So in Innovation Factory, we have a number of initiatives. The first one is the ecosystem builder. Some of you might be familiar with BLOCK71. So in Indonesia, we have BLOCK71 Jakarta, Bandung, and Jogja, and also we have an Innovation Factory. This is a place where startups can grow and also to meet. So we provide the space, the program, and also the community for startups to grow. We also have a funding network and an accelerator program, which is called Scala. And we also have our digital talent empowerment program, which is the IF Academy and IF on campus. Last but not least, we also have a lot of innovation programs where we do a lot of meetup, roadshow, hackathon, startup pitching, and business matching. So these are a number of activities that we do under Innovation Factory. And then maybe we can go to the next slide. Yeah. Oh, the next one. It's okay. So these are a number of things that we can do, and then you can follow us at innofactory.id and also Innovation Factory Indonesia to get to know more about what we do and also our upcoming events and activities. So we have a lot of things for startup founders and also people who are interested in joining the startup community. So maybe that was just a brief introduction about Innovation Factory. I think you've all been here and we can't wait to get to the main topic. So right now we're gonna go discuss a bit about what we're planning to discuss today. So we are very happy in collaboration with Glints and also BLOCK71 Jakarta to welcome everyone in today's session on the topic of HR leaders in revolutionizing the work behavior. So right now we have 2 special guest speakers. The first one is Monir, who is the VP of People Partner and People Experience at Gojek, and he has an extensive experience in digital and cultural transformation as well as organizational development. So maybe Monir, you can say hi a bit to everyone.
Hi everyone, I'm very happy to join this session, and yeah, I'll do my best answering all the questions that you might have later on, but first I'll start answering some of JC's questions first.
Yeah, okay. And then maybe, and also we have JP or Juvenco, who is the CEO of Atenda, who is an experienced founder with a demonstrated history of working in the financial industry. And right now, he is the founder of Atenda, which is a SaaS workforce management solution for the businesses who employ workforce with shift working schedule. So maybe Juvenco, is your camera on? Hello?
Oh, I think my camera is on. Hi guys. Hi. So yeah, so happy to be here. So happy that we can have a talk with you guys today. So basically, Atenda, for those who haven't know about Atenda, we are actually an HR platform that focus on helping business owner or HR providers to, the human capital department to build schedules, managing attendances for the employees, and basically calculating their payroll automatically.
Okay, thank you, Juvenco. How are you guys today?
We're good. Thank you.
Okay.
We're good. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I think that is just a brief introduction from me, and also we met our speakers today. So I think I'm gonna pass it to Juvenco to start the session. So we're quite excited. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Widya. Thank you, Safira, for the introduction. So happy to be here. I mean, like, if you look into any great businesses, whether it's a hotel, it's a boutique, or even a bakery, look into each and any one of them, you might find one same thing, which is great people. I believe that Monir and I here, we believe that great businesses are powered by great people, people that actually delivering care, delighting customers, serving the communities, and ensuring quality. I think this is the type of workforce that during businesses to create and manage and design for most industry to be successful. So perhaps that we can start by asking Monir, like, do you mind like giving us a quick overview about regarding the work behavior and landscape in Indonesia? What do you think of that?
So in the context of COVID-19, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say Indonesia is not alone about the changes that has occurred due to COVID-19, because COVID-19 have obviously forced a lot of our organizations to enter this huge worldwide social experience, which is about working from home, everything done digitally. You cannot go to office. So everyone is working from home these days. Everyone have to follow the social distancing. Well, at least if you are responsible for yourself and your family. Even those who've gotten back to offices now, they have to have a distance between them. Even the simple way we interact nowadays, when I realize people are not standing that close to each other anywhere. A lot of people like to have a distance between them, and so forth. I mean, we are all in it together, so you know what has changed. When it comes to the job market, whether we are in Indonesia, the United States, things have changed significantly. I mean, companies that we all know, like Tesla, Ford, General Motors, they started producing ventilators from car parts, something that they would never imagine they would be doing a few months ago. New Balance, the sportswear company, they started producing surgical masks. So definitely things have changed a lot worldwide, and also in Indonesia, the way people work and where they're working from. If we look at the banking industry, whether you're in Indonesia, Malaysia, Denmark, or wherever you are in the world, it was unheard of to have things in the cloud and do things digitally, even within HR, because of security reasons or whatever reasons they had. But what we are seeing now is a tendency to all companies just moving towards the cloud. And yeah, so it's a very interesting time to live in and to be working. So yeah, so a lot of things have changed, that's for sure, both in Indonesia and everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, I can see that. For the audiences here, if you have questions, you can basically put it in a Q&A forum. Later on, Monir and I will actually pick the best questions to be answered. So, yeah. Monir, thank you for the answer. Like, do you find that as an employee, how are the work behavior changing after the COVID-19?
So I would say in general, I mean, I read a research recently done by Laura Farrer, who went in and looked at what's the difference between now, the way we're working during COVID-19 and pre-COVID-19. And what I found really interesting was that Laura split it into three areas. There's the virtual workplace accessibility, there's the asynchronous communication, and the last part is result-based tracking. So these are three main areas where we see a lot of differences. When it comes to virtual workplace accessibility, I think that's one of the most important parts, in the sense that work is no longer somewhere we go, it's something we do. And that it might not sound that serious, but if you really think about it, what we always thought about going when we are talking about work, we always say we are going to work. We go to the office, we sit in the office, we do whatever we need to do at work or wherever we are. But today you can literally sit everywhere in the world. As I put in the chat just now, I'm planning to move to Bali to live there for a few months, to work from there, and that's made possible thanks to COVID-19. Even though it's a pandemic and it's really not a great situation, but it's given opportunities to corporates and even small businesses to really try out this big experiment of just working from anywhere. And that's only possible because we can put everything in the cloud today. The technology is there, the data, documents, collaboration tools, and so forth. Even this webinar, I mean, normally you would have invited me for a session in a hotel or somewhere where all of you would sit there and listen to what I'm saying. Today we're doing it through Zoom. The other one is asynchronous communication. We are no longer dependent on time or location. Everyone can work concurrently on whatever they're working on. I mean, I have colleagues now in the US, in Indonesia, in Singapore, in India, and so forth. And the way we're working together, for example, Google Docs, I'll work on something now, and tonight someone will take over and put some comments on my work, and the next day I can continue from there. They can continue from where I am. It's not that new for a lot of companies, but it's new for a lot of traditional companies who are not used to work virtually in that way. And that's made, again, possible thanks to technology where we can be on anytime, anywhere. The last part is results-based tracking. So I would say in the past, whether we like it or not, we did measure productivity according to the noise in the office, whether the phone is ringing, people are talking, people are going to meetings, and so forth. And when I'm saying we, I'm saying corporates in general. And we would recognize overachievers by seeing who's coming in early in the morning, who's leaving late. Okay, that person's working hard. It's no longer like that, because I don't know who of my team members starts earlier or ends late. The only thing I see is the result and the impact that they're creating, which you could say creates a more fair environment, because the people who come in early and leave late, we actually don't know how hard they're working. You might have a busy mother or father coming in 9 o'clock, leaves 5 sharp, but they're super efficient during this time. Managers who are not that experienced or who's having the wrong mindset would say, well, that person is not that productive, he's not working hard enough, so I appreciate the others more, instead of just looking at the results. So yeah, the work environment has definitely changed a lot, and the way we interact and work together has changed a lot.
I totally agree with you. I mean, that's a good human capital managing mindset that we actually should focus more on an efficient worker rather than the one that, you know, like clocks in and clocks out on time or after time. So, but what do you see? Like, what's your insight? What's your opinion? Like, what are the challenges that the companies are experiencing in digitizing everything on the cloud? Like, what do you see? What's the challenge that they're facing in Southeast Asia?
Well, I would say that there are pros and cons. I mean, I would say, first of all, whether we like it or not, everyone have to go digital now because of COVID-19. Even before COVID-19, a lot of people were talking about digital, but it was more like a theater where everyone talks about it, but very few are actually doing something about it. So I would say the digital-born companies like Gojek, like Shopee, and so forth, it's easier for them to adapt into the new normal, in the sense that we are simply just digital companies. Our company, Gojek, for example, is a super app, and that's it. And also, if you look at how different companies are performing and how they're changing, I mean, Microsoft CEO, Satya Nadella, he went out and said that they've seen 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months, thanks to this. And we've seen 10 years growth in just 3 months when it comes to e-commerce penetration. We've seen 75% of consumers trying different stores or brands just during the COVID-19 pandemic. So you will definitely see a lot of companies succeeding in this and capturing this growth and potential. But you'll also see a lot of on the losing end. So I mean, I read a McKinsey research recently. It's on my LinkedIn profile if you're interested to read it, where it was very clear that the performance gap between the best and worst performing corporates has widened during the pandemic. So it's really important to adapt, and some just can't adapt to this new norm.
Do you think most companies in Southeast Asia are ready to implement this flexible working methods?
I actually think that the Southeast Asian companies are just as prepared as any other company in any other region, or maybe even more prepared. So I'm not too concerned about Southeast Asian companies. Maybe some of the more old school family-run conglomerates who likes to work in a certain way, they might have some challenges in that sense. But in general, I would say absolutely, I'm very positive about how Southeast Asia will evolve here. And also, if you look at it, many of the Western companies have for a long time outsourced a lot of the IT and far distance and offshore outsourcing to Southeast Asia and Asia in general. So you could say distance working and virtual collaboration is something that a lot of Asians are used to compared to a lot of Western companies. So definitely, I think that there's good potential in the Asian companies.
Yep. Comparing the working from the office and working from the home base, based on your experience, like, do you think the productivity works effectively when an employee is working from home? And could you describe this question from the company side, from the employer side, and also from your personal side?
Actually, that's a really interesting question because it really depends on who you ask. So I've heard parents to children, if they're living in a small apartment, the children, I mean, even in Gojek, I'm having colleagues where their children are suddenly jumping into the screen and disturbing the parents and so forth. We can't expect them to be equally efficient as they were in the office. But then again, I mean, Gojek really cares about we really care about our employees. So of course we understand that's happening and that's okay. But we also have other employees who are saying this was the best thing that could happen to some individuals, in the sense that they've become much more efficient. Their meetings are more efficient and straight to point. And that's due to our way of working in Gojek. I mean, a lot of the things are very digital. We're used to collaborating with each other, both on-site, off-site, virtually. So definitely that there has, I mean, we haven't, when it comes to the way we work together, we haven't been hit that hard because we've been able to adapt. And if you look at Gojek in general, what we are really great at is adapting and finding new ways of doing things. And you who lives here in Indonesia, who's using the Gojek app, you see how we keep innovating. And this, I mean, COVID-19 has forced a lot of corporates to innovate. And since it's our second nature to innovate, it's definitely something that we've taken the opportunity to do. On an individual level, I would say some of the advantages of COVID-19 is that a lot of people have gotten much closer to their family. They're spending more time with their children. They have more flexibility at work in the sense that they can start early morning, take a break during lunch or longer break. They can continue at night. So they're not really dependent on the 9 to 6 office hours anymore. So it gives them a lot of flexibility. And then also, I mean, us who are living in Jakarta, I've seen a lot of you are from Singapore, so maybe you're not experiencing the same, but none of us are really stuck in traffic jam if we need to work from home. So that's a great advantage. Already there, a lot of us are saving at least 2 hours a day that we spend on work instead. The disadvantage on the other side is, as I said, some employees who might have small children, they might have challenges focusing while they're having children around. And then also, a lot of us, we really enjoy going to work, meeting our colleagues. I mean, at least in Gojek, I love my colleagues and we're having so much fun, even though we're working hard, but we really have a lot of fun at work. So that's something we definitely are missing, the social interaction in the physical world and not just the virtual world.
Good. What kind of support does Gojek provide to the employees during this like a crisis situation at the moment, like now?
Yeah, so Gojek has always been of the belief that we really care about our employees. It's people first. If we don't take care of our employees, how are we going to take care of our customers? So definitely the safety and health of our employees is our utmost priority. So that there's no compromise there. So we started working from home already from mid-March. And the plan to return to office, we are following the regulations, of course, but we are also taking our own measurements. We're cleaning the office. We've made it voluntarily, whether people want to get back to work here the 1st of September or not. Some people have chosen to work till, from home or from wherever they want to be till end of this year. And then again, we will look into whether we want people to get back to work. But the kind of things that we've helped our employees with is that, not everyone is having an office at home. So people who needed some extra screens, office chairs, that they could just take these with them home from office. We've been very focused on well-being campaigns because we know a lot of people are just living alone or living in a house in a very small area, and they don't get to socialize. And humans in general are very social beings. So we arrange home workouts online, of course. We arrange motivational talks with some very well-known figures from Indonesia and abroad. We've arranged meditation classes. We arrange talks and discussions with experts and leaders in Gojek. We even have kids' festivities every weekend and so forth. I'm not going to bore you with all the small things that we are doing, but all these initiatives make sure that we keep people sane in the sense that we do care about our employees. We want them to be engaged and happy, and this is some of the ways we are doing it. We also have an employee assistance program where we are collaborating with experts to provide free 24/7 consulting services for anyone who needs any help. So yeah, we are doing our best to help our employees. So yeah, that's some of the things that we are doing.
No wonder that Gojek is a magnet for talents. So great. Yes. Why is Gojek implementing a modern HR process, like even way before the COVID-19, like how you built, modernizing the building culture, like automate everything in the company system and invest in tools to boost work effectiveness? Like, why does Gojek do all these kind of things even way before the pandemic?
Yeah, so I would say intuition is good, but it's never enough. And if you look at Gojek, we are a modern digital company. We are super app. We are catering for more than 100 million of customers. So it's very important for us to really be out there and really just be digital and modernized and create the best employee experience and customer experience. And a lot of people tend to only focus on the external factors, so the customer experience outside the company. But if you really want to truly care about your customers, you have to care about your own employees as well. Hence, we really care about modernizing and digitalizing even our HR processes. And I want to make clear that a lot of people talk about going digital and digitalization. It is a buzzword. But if you want to be truly digital, there are 5 aspects that you really have to care about. One is digital capturing. The second one is centralized storage. So things have to be out there in the cloud, always accessible. And you have to be able to run analytics. And so you need the data. You need to get the data to work on to make to get the insights to make informed decisions. We need real-time processing to make sure that everything that changes, that we are always in line with that and we know what's happening. And then, of course, visual screen-based reporting in the sense that we should always be able to get access to it through our laptops, mobile, and so forth. And because we've always have in mind of going digital and modernizing and caring about employees, also employee experience, which includes having access to everything they need anytime, anywhere, that has really helped us during this COVID-19 pandemic in the sense that we were prepared for this, you could say, due to the way that we are working in Gojek.
That's great. I think this is the last question before we jump into the Q&A session. What is your opinion? How do you actually suggest? How do you advise a traditional company to modernize the HR process for future-proof HR?
Yeah. So I would say I've been working for SMEs, startups, and corporates, and the area that I've pretty much specialized within is to really help modernize and digitalize companies, especially within organizational development and HR. And what I've seen a lot of companies, so I do speak about this a lot with my peers in other countries and other companies. The mistake most companies do is they have an approach where they see this kind of transformation as a number of initiatives. But digital transformation is much bigger than just a few initiatives or a HR system. It's really about, I mean, yes, don't get me wrong, tech is definitely playing a big part of it. But what it really is about is, do you have the right culture to modernize and digitalize the company? Do you have the right processes? I remember when I was working one of my old companies, we went in and rewrote all the policies in the sense that they were very old school. They were, I mean, it was like reading legal documents. And what we also have to have in mind is when we are undergoing digital transformation, we shouldn't force digital systems to fit into the outdated policies we're having. We should modernize our policies according to the new world. So that's that, and processes as well, of course. It's the way that you design your organization. So how many layers do we have, span of control, how agile is your team able to be in the organizational design you're having, how you share information, the transparency, how you interact with your customers, and so forth. So that there are a lot of things that people have to look into when they're looking at digital transformation. But what's really important is to have the strategy in place first, and not technology. So it's the strategy that drives the digital transformation. And I remember I read research made by Deloitte together with MIT Sloan that showed that most corporate leaders, and here I'm talking about the C-suites, don't even have a clear digital strategy. So if you don't have that, how on earth are you going to transform the organization to something that you don't have a strategy for? But once that's in place, that's when HR can play a role, in the sense that they need to develop values and culture and a purpose that enables the strategy that these companies are having. And that's where you really have to create some sort of a digital mindset in the company. I've written articles about that. You can add me on LinkedIn and read some of the stuff that I've done there. But what's really important is to really understand what are the traits that we need our employees to have and the company to have to enable and to drive the digital transformation. And if I could end with one thing, what's really important to really make sure that the employees also follow suit, because as humans, whether we like it or not, whether we admit it or not, we don't like change. We like, once we get used to something and we enjoy doing it in one way, or we know how to do it, that's it. Don't come and tell me to do it in a different way, right? So what's really important here is, it's a model that I strongly believe in, that I've used in several companies, is that first you really need to you need to disrupt the employees. You need to give them that shock, that if they don't change, they'll be left out. So if you don't want to become more digital savvy and so forth, there'll be others taking your job. And it's not enough for you to lose this job, but other companies are undergoing the same process, the same transformation. So once they get that shock, typically the employee will think, hey, I need to change. But what do I need to do? And that's why you need to inspire them with employees that they can relate to with people they can relate to. So you shouldn't put Mark Zuckerberg there, or Nadim, or Kevin, or anyone, the some of the digital superstars out there. You should inspire them by showing them employees that can relate to, their colleagues who've been in their shoes in the past, but now have made the change in their mindset and way of working. Once you've disrupted them, given them that shock and given them the inspiration that, hey, if he can do it, I can do it as well, that's when you need to create the right environment to help them elevate to where we want them to be, in the sense that the managers should support them. There should be learning and development initiatives in the company, that they should be able to feel and see what this is really about, to really help them get where they should be. So I would say it's really important to disrupt, inspire, and elevate the employees if you really want to succeed with whatever I just said there. I can keep on going and talking about this, but I think it would be better if we get some more questions. JP, if you have more questions, or if anyone is having any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Wow, Monir, it's really great now. I think like this really helps lots of the HR people out there in the audiences, you know, to implement like the kind of shop that you just mentioned. It's really relatable that we focus on letting the colleagues to influence one another rather than putting out the digital superstars like Nadim and all. Really great. I think there's one question that I find it really interesting by Adi Chandra. Perhaps I'll allow him to ask the questions directly.
Sure.
Hold on. Adi, I'm allowing you to talk. Do you mind, can you unmute to actually talk?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Hello?
Great.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Please, Adi.
Okay, nice to see you, Monir. I have a question. I'm working in a coal mining industry, so it's quite a difference with technology industry like that. Okay. My question is, what do you think about working behavior in some areas that have a lack of signal for working, or have old-fashioned working methods such as coal mining industry or crude palm oil industry?
Yes. So, I mean, you'll be surprised how digital some of the really old school companies are. I mean, some companies who really wanted to undergo such transformation. But I think what's really important that it's not, I mean, the purpose or the end goal is not to be digital. The end goal is to create the right customer experience and employee experience. So sometimes the solution is not going digital. Sometimes it'll make things even worse. Sometimes the solution is as simple as managers having one-on-one with their direct reports. Sometimes it should be digital that, hey, I want to do performance reviews on my mobile phone. That's really creating a superb employee and manager experience. So what you need to find out first is what are the actual needs and what is the experience that the employees are having. So Adi, you're talking about the employees in this case, right? Not the
Yes.
External customers.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I remember I used to do in one of my old companies was we would run design thinking workshops. So we would go in and look at how is the candidate experience. Then you could invite some candidates and discuss with them and go through the flow of the whole candidate journey. It could be the onboarding journey that you're zooming into. It could be how do people get promoted in the company and so forth. So I would definitely, especially those who are working so-called old school industries, which are extremely important, so don't underestimate those. I can tell you, without those so-called old school industries, a company like Gojek wouldn't exist. I mean, we need electricity. Some people will say, well, old school companies like that are really not interesting, but Gojek needs electricity. We need internet, so we need the telcos. We need so many of those old school industries that I find it a little bit, I mean, not because you said it, Adi, but it's a little bit sometimes disrespectful to call these industries for old school, because they are the heartbeat of many nations. I mean, most, for countries in general. But I would say look into design thinking and try to take the approach of user first. Treat your employees as if they were your customers and listen to them more than what many companies unfortunately do, especially HR departments who actually act as if they were police officers. I mean, they'll throw policies in your head and say, well, that's the policy, it says this, and you just follow. I would say really look into the details, put the user in front. If you need to digitalize some processes, do that. If you need to do something different, don't just go digital, because it's not the solution to everything. I've seen a lot of companies completely failing introducing some of the state-of-the-art digital solutions because they were simply not ready for it. And look, Adi, you might work in a so-called old school industry, but you can have just as much fun in a company like that and developing and transforming the experience within that company as it is to work in some of the so-called cool modern tech companies. But it's really the will of the leadership whether they want to create such an environment for their employees.
Does that answer your questions, Adi? Hello, Adi? Okay,
Hello?
I think we lost.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Quite,
Okay,
yes,
cool.
That's good.
I think the second question is from Salomo Depi. I find his question as interesting. I'll allow him to talk.
Yes.
Salomo, can you hear me? Salomo, hello? 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 Okay, I think we lost Salomo. I think we can move on to Yuki, which I find is pretty exciting as well, the questions. Yuki, can you talk? Hello, Yuki? Sofianita Sudirman? Hello, Yuki?
Sorry, I cannot talk right now. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't mind the sound of children in the background. It's not a problem at all. I mean, we are used to it. No problem.
So, okay, since Yuki can't talk, I'll read her questions. So basically, she's working in a family company. So they are facing some difficulties. Like one of the way is to monitor the works for the employees working from home. Like, do you have tips? Like, do you believe that asking worker to report their work daily through Google Docs actually help?
Okay, so this is where it really gets challenging, because now you're not sitting in office. You have no idea who's actually doing that work and who's not. And that brings me back to the the three areas that I mentioned before. If you remember the research that Laurel Farah did, where she was talking about virtual workplace accessibility, asynchronous communication, and results-based tracking. So I would say what we do in Gojek, I mean, of course, we have OKRs, we set expectations clearly to our employees, but then we are also using some digital tools and to collaborate. I won't even call it to track our employees, because we really trust our employees that they want to do their best. But it's about having, we work best with the project plans and timelines and so forth. So we are, for example, using Asana quite heavily. Some people are using, I forgot the name of it. I mean, it's like Asana, so it's collaboration tools. We also use the Google Suite for a lot of the collaboration tools. So I don't think it's the right thing to keep micromanaging your employees, because in the first place, you hired them for a reason. If they can't deliver their job, I mean, that's when you have to have a performance discussion with them. But what's really important is to set very clear expectations and then give them the freedom to do their work. And as managers, I mean, the middle managers the employees managers, of course, they have to work closely with their employees to enable them to remove roadblocks and so forth. But I've never been a fan of micromanagement, because it just kills innovation, it kills motivation, it kills engagement. But I'm also aware that it's easier said than done. I mean, I've spoken with friends, I mean, in other companies. I don't see it much in Gojek, that's for sure, but where they complain about their employees not delivering any work, and their employees are not doing their job properly. But that's why I always turn it around, that as managers, we have an added responsibility to ensure that our team is productive and not just ourselves. And one way to ensure that your team is productive is to create very clear expectations. And then you could maybe have weekly meetings or stand-up meetings every day, or whatever mechanisms that you want to enable them and to allow these employees to reach out to you if they have any challenges. And it's also when you are setting expectations very clearly with deadlines, you will always know when people don't do their job. So that's a simple way of doing it.
Thank you, Monir. I think one last question that I find very interesting is Akbar Pratama. Do you mind to ask your questions directly to Monir, Akbar?
Hello,
yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for Pak Juvenco and Pak Monir. I'm Tama from Bali. I work in the hospitality industry. I would like to ask, do you have any tips or strategy to implement of the using of the tech at the workplace for the training and self-development, especially for baby boomers and X generation? Because I think they are often having lack of motivations to learn and adapt to their mindset because they are gonna have to retire or pension. That's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so you're saying that it's baby boomers and Generation X, they're not motivated to learn because they are just looking forward for their retirement, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So yeah, well, nice to meet you, Akbar. I might bump into you in Bali sometimes in October. So looking forward for that. Let's keep in touch.
Yeah,
But to answer your question, I think what's really important, regardless of people's age or background or whatever it is, as a company, we always have to keep our employees accountable for their work. So I'm a strong believer of the only thing we should care about is people's performance and potential. And when I'm saying that, of course, there'll be people with disabilities and so forth. We really have to take care of those as well. So that's a different story. But I'm talking about normal people people without any disabilities in any way. We should make sure that we measure them on their performance and potential. So and I've worked with baby boomers. So I remember in one of my older companies at Telco, I was heading organizational development as part of my portfolio, which included L&D. And I introduced some digital learning tools like LinkedIn Learning, SmartUp, Harvard Management, and a few others. And the assumption is always the millennials are the ones who will use it the most, while the old farts, they will not use it. I mean, forget about them. And data, and that's why I'm saying it's really important to be very analytics driven also when you're in HR. Data clearly showed that some of the heaviest users of our digital learning tools were people in their 40s, because they felt, oh, the world have changed so much, I need to adapt. And they've gone through a lot of changes. I mean, if you speak with your parents, I mean, those of you who are a little bit younger, the changes they've gone through is much more significant than what we've been going through during our life. So they know they have to adapt of any. And so what you'll realize that those engaged and motivated baby boomers or Generation X, they are as interested in developing their skills as the so-called younger ones are. So it's not always an excuse, but what you need to create is a proper performance management system and a proper talent management system in general, where you make it very clear that this is the expectations, this is what you're accountable for. If you do well, of course, we will really appreciate you. If you can't do your job, well, then maybe you're doing the wrong job. Let's help you find another position. Or if they just don't want to do their work, most companies, most of you who are working for companies are not working for NGOs. So you are running a company which is supposed to be profitable. So you can't have employees sitting there and working against the mission and vision and the purpose of the company. So in that sense, you need to have a serious talk with them. And when it comes to learning, I have to be very clear here. Even though I used to head L&D, I can tell you a lot of the learning initiatives L&D departments are offering their employees is pretty much useless for a big part of the company. So you can't sit there and offer useless programs to your employees and start complaining about why nobody is making use of those systems. I remember when I was heading organizational development and in my old company, I told my team directly, look, you can never tell your employees that this is our colleagues, that here is a policy, you have to go for 30 training hours per year. No, you have to sell your products. You have to think like Steve Jobs. You have to think about, I have a product, how do I market it? How do I sell it to my colleagues in a way that there's a demand for it? I shouldn't push it over people's head, but people should come to me and ask, hey, Monir, I wanna use your tool. I want access to that system. Monir, can you please come and help me with this, create this program? I've seen how amazing it is elsewhere. So that's the mindset that I've always wanted to create among my team members and peers. And that's the mindset that you have to go to. Also to those baby boomers and Gen X, because the reason why they don't use your tools is because they don't feel the need of it, right? And if there's no need of it, why should they do it? And if they don't need to change the way they work, yeah, then I mean, if I was them, I would rather have a coffee with my friends or spend time with my children and grandchildren than sitting and reading some papers that are useless for me. So make whatever you do relevant for everyone. And again, if they don't perform because they are just waiting for retirement and retirement is still 10 years away, that's when you have to use the concept that I shared before, disrupt, inspire, and elevate. Because if they lose that job, it will be very difficult for them to find a job elsewhere. And we know that's reality. I mean, COVID-19, you've seen how many people have been laid off all over the world.
Thank you, Monir. I think to sum everything up, HR leaders in particular have been at the center of their organization's rapid response to this crisis and have been playing a central role in keeping the workforce engaged, productive, and resilient. Understandably, recent priorities have been focused almost exclusively on response phase as progress is made against response efforts. Another reality is actually forming quickly. And now is the time actually for HR leaders to turn their attention toward recover, to ensure their organizations are prepared to thrive. And this will require extraordinary focus and coordination during what may be a protracted period. I think in regards of the last questions, I believe that in order to get your employees engaged, I believe that you have to also empower them with a simple tool where we at Atenda, we actually provide a free software as a service platform, HR platform for 10 employees. You are more than happy to try. I'll give out the link on the chat room. Anyone who's interested, you can just download and try it on a demo mode. And I'll pass this forum to Widya Sukarta. Thank you for everything. Yeah.
Okay, thank you both of you. I think that was a really interesting discussion that you guys had, especially. I don't think this is applicable just for HR professionals or HR leaders, because it's actually interesting insight from the management perspective as well on how you can kind of change the workforce and how people work right now. Because right now, I think personally for me, we are more space-based. So I run like office space. It's quite difficult on how things are working from home, especially things in operation. But this kind of insights will definitely help us talk to also our management and also to our staff, right? So I think we are coming to a close to our event today. I would like to thank Juvenco and Monir for your time today. Do you have any last words to say to everyone? Or?
It's been a pleasure to meet all of you, and sorry that we couldn't answer all the questions. I mean, there are a lot of questions, I can see that. But I mean, I'm happy to catch up sometimes. I mean, physically after COVID-19 is a little bit more stable, of course. Until then, feel free to add me on LinkedIn and maybe we can continue the discussions there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
same
Thank
as
you.
me. Thank you everyone for participating in this webinar. You guys are also feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to my personal Instagram or LinkedIn. So I'll give out Instagram. Anyone is welcome to DM me. I'm happy to connect. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Just before everybody signing off, I have a request from Safira that we're gonna take a picture before this. Like a lot of the webinars, we always have to take a picture at the end. So can everybody turn on your camera? I mean, I know some of you are working from home. Maybe you haven't showered, or I don't know, but it happens a lot. But it's not uncommon now. So I think can everyone start turning on their camera?
Speaking from personal experience, Vidya.
Very much so. There were rough time at the beginnings of this COVID, but okay. Oh, I can see everyone's camera is on right now. So hi everyone. It's nice to see everybody's faces because we used to do this offline. I think we have people from the Glints team and maybe someone from our team as well take a picture. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm working on promoting everyone to panelists. Just give me 1 minute so that you guys can open your camera.
Okay. I'll let you do the magic. So yeah, so it's nice to see everyone actually. And I see that some people are back in the office, and some people are still work from home. I know those with those green screen, those are the like, we don't know where they are. They might be at home or, yeah. Okay. I think we're still progressing, right?
25 more.
Okay. Gita bisa bantu? Yeah, I think Gita can help you. So yeah, I think we have quite a number of people. We have 120 plus, almost 140 attendees today. So quite good session.
Hi everyone.
Hi. Ada Pak Nicholas ya. Halo.
Hello, Mbak Widya.
Halo Pak.
Hello.
Yeah. I think while 11 more. It's like a countdown. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Should we take a picture now?
Okay.
Safira? Yeah. Okay. I think we can take a picture. Okay. 1, 2, 3. One more. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think that is all from my side. So thank you everyone for joining our session. Maybe from Innovation Factory, we're quite happy to host this. We hope we can do this again. It's definitely an insightful discussion. I learned a lot. I don't know about everybody else. And maybe Safira, you have anything else to add? No? Okay.
I think that's all from us. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a great day ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Bye.
Have a good
You guys
day.
stay
End of the
safe.
day.
Bye.
See you.
Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Bye.